So, who is teacher? Teacher is the most important school-based resources for determining future academic success and lifelong outcomes for students. The primary purpose of teaching is to facilitate student learning as a change in behaviors, attitudes, or capabilities. Next is, what is effective teacher? Effective teachers demonstrate a deep understanding of the curriculum. They also provide high-quality instruction to increase student achievement and provide a respectful, positive, safe, and student-centered environment. So, for your information, there are 4 S's of effective teaching that summarize the most prevalent recommendations from the teaching effectiveness research literature. They are the strongest links between what teachers can do and the learning that students achieve. The first is of effective teaching concern the utilization of an outcomes-based instructional orientation. It enables students to focus their attention on clear learning goals and inform them of where they are going and how they will get there, and also provide the teacher with a framework for designing. The second is of effective teaching involves clarity of instruction. More efficient teachers usually provide students with very explicit instructions and explanations on the content of the course. If students do not meet teachers' expectations, there may be a lack of clarity in their delivery methods. The third one is engagement. Each teacher should know that students learn by doing, so they must create a dynamic educational environment that affords students the opportunity to practice every concept that they are learning. It should begin early in the lesson and continue throughout the lesson.
The last one is enthusiasm. As straightforward as it may seem, if you hate to teach it, your students will hate to learn it. If you love to teach it, your students may very well love to learn it. Effective teachers should display a high level of enthusiasm that reflects their professional competence and confidence. Teachers can begin to establish a positive learning environment by showing their passion for the subject matter, using student names, reinforcing student participation during class, and being active in moving among the students. It is the teacher's responsibility to establish a classroom environment that allows for a high degree of student achievement. Therefore, don't forget, teachers should integrate the 4 S's of effective teaching in order to optimize their students' learning.
Classroom management is also very important for students to follow their learning. Not only have effective teachers to realize the progress of learning goes smoothly, but also good classroom management brought by teachers. New teachers typically express concerns about the lack of effective methods to deal with significantly disruptive student behavior. Disruptive behavior is a particular problem in underprivileged student classrooms. It can be said that disruptive behavior becomes an important problem that makes classroom management ineffective. So, what is classroom management? It refers to the wide variety of skills and techniques that teachers use to keep students organized, orderly, focused, attentive, on task, and academically productive during a class. In general, effective teachers tend to demonstrate strong classroom management skills, while inexperienced or less effective teacher characteristics are irregular classrooms filled with students who do not work or pay attention. Classroom management aims at establishing student self-control through a process of promoting positive student achievement and behavior. Now, let's learn about characteristics of effective classroom management. Firstly, student engagement. A well-managed classroom will ensure that students are always involved in the learning process. Students are involved in the learning process, which helps to develop high-level thinking skills in students. Teaching creatively can be a major factor in student engagement because uninteresting lessons will cause students to stop listening and become distracted. More creative teaching methods will attract the attention of students and allow them to focus. So, teachers must make sure that they prepare with interesting teaching and learning tools and also some enjoying activities to do with their students. Secondly, clear expectations. Expectations such as classroom objectives are clear in a well-managed classrooms. Students know the material to be tested, as well as the teacher's expectations of the various assignments to be assessed. This also allows for efficiency in the classroom, as students can manage their time appropriately to move from one task to another effectively. A good method to ensure that students are clear about the objectives of the class is to write daily tasks on the board at the beginning of each lesson, and also write the exam dates in a place that students can see periodically. Next is a positive work environment. A positive work environment is one of the key features of a well-managed classroom. Students are comfortable asking questions to the teacher. The classroom environment is also stress-free to ensure a good workflow and a positive environment. Decorating the classroom, as well as allowing students to participate in decorating the classroom, can help encourage a positive work environment. As we can see, this 21st century learning also changed the various classroom positioning plans, which use the positioning of the desks, displays, storage and equipment to create a warm and welcoming room. Last but not least, firm discipline is also one of the key features and an important factor in a well-managed classroom. Students have clear and assertive guidelines on what is allowed in the classroom and what is not, which allows students to remain disciplined and encourage efficient workflows. Simple things like a guide to go to the bathroom or raise their hand while talking are there to help maintain a positive and effective work environment. Students should also be given positive reinforcement and praise for appropriate behavior and good work to help motivate them and others in the class.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today I would like to share with you about effective teachers and classroom management in Islamic perspective. As known, classroom management is very important because it determines the teaching and learning environment. A conducive classroom helps students to focus in their studies, plus excel at the highest achievement and vice versa. So today, we will learn about aspects that we should focus in classroom management that are related to our life as a Muslim. First thing first, the perfect classroom management should have the best organization. First and foremost, the best classroom management comes from the best organization. Based on our interview, 95% of our respondents agree that classroom organization helps in managing the class. It is because the one who becomes the leader will in charge in monitoring the students in the classroom. Basically, the highest position in class organization is the teacher. So, the teacher is responsible to choose the best class monitor among the students who have the good manners and akhlaq. Among the characteristics of the good class monitor are responsible, honest, active, and well communicated. By having the organization in the class, it is actually the chance to sharpen the students' leadership skills, as this is a very important skills that everyone should master. It is important to have a leadership skills because Allah has mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah in verse 30, "Verily I am going to place the Khalifah in the earth." That means we are all the leader. The second one is the perfect classroom management has their own rules. In order to maintain the good surrounding in the classroom, it is good to have a rules because it makes the student aware of it. Furthermore, a survey has been conducted and it shows 10% of respondents think that the teachers should punish the misbehaving student, while others prefer advise the students. In this case, we can see that punishment has a big impact on the students' thought. Thus, they will not break the rules once they know the consequence. The result is the classroom will be so peaceful and calm, which 70% of the respondents prefer the calm environment in the classroom. By having the rules, the student will learn how to obey to the authority. As Allah has mentioned in Surah An-Nisa verse 59, "O believers, obey Allah and obey the messenger and those in authority among you." So, the students will behave very well in the class.
The next aspect of classroom management is cleanliness. There's a hadith from Tirmizi. Prophet Muhammad said, "Allah is kind and He loves kindness. Allah is clean and He loves cleanliness. Allah is glorious and He loves glory. Allah is generous and He loves generosity. So clean your place and do not be like the Jews."
From the previous hadith, cleanliness is important, especially in the classroom. There are a lot of ways to ensure the classroom is clean for example, creating the duties timetable and organizing Cleanliness Day. According to Stephanie Tremblay, Nancy Roos, Jean-Marie Bartlett 1999, teachers, classroom management, and the cleanliness of the surroundings are important in students' achievement. Cleanliness is not limited for physical classrooms only, but it also involves virtual classrooms like WhatsApp groups, Google Meet, Zoom, and other learning management systems. Basically, cleanliness in the physical classroom can be cleaned by doing the duties like sweeping the trash and cleaning the dusty, unlike cleanliness in the virtual classroom that can only be cleaned by thinking before delivering the message. Students should avoid inappropriate words like cursing in a virtual classroom.
Last but not least is the arrangement of students. Arrangement of students is also one of the important aspects in classroom management. There should be a moderate amount of students in the classroom. Too many numbers of students will make it crowded and hard to control.
The Ministry of Education has introduced the 21st Century Education in Teaching and Learning. The students have been encouraged to arrange their position in the classroom into small groups as it can ease the students to have group discussion. According to Professor Dr. Saida Siraj, the lecturer of Sultan Idris Education University, she said, the best classroom only has 25 to 30 number of students only per classroom. This suggestion is not only to ensure the teacher to focus on their students, but also to protect the relation boundaries between male and female students. As Allah has mentioned in Surah An-Nur verse 30, O Prophet, tell the believing men to lower their gaze and guard their chastity, that is purer for them. Surely Allah is all aware of what they do. In conclusion, everyone should play their roles to form the best classroom surrounding. As mentioned earlier, it is not only teachers' responsibility, but it involves the whole residents of the school, starting from the principal until the staff itself.
Alright, now we move to effective teachers in Islamic perspective. Being an educator is a huge responsibility towards the society as they determine the society's future. After family, the teacher is the one who will shape a person's attitude, whether to be good or vice versa. In Islam, Allah increased the teacher's position because of their noble work which are spreading knowledge to mankind. There was a hadith narrated by Ibn Qais which said by the messenger of Allah, they learned the highest of the prophets, and the prophets leave neither dinar nor dirham, leaving only knowledge, and he who takes it takes an abundant portion. So now we will learn the good traits of an effective teachers in Islamic perspective. The first trait is an understanding teachers. An effective teacher always try their best to understand their student. It is important because it brings the good relation between the teacher and the students. First, the teacher should expect the variety of students' learning performance, which are slow learner and fast learner. They need extra attention in the classroom. To be an understanding teacher, the teacher should tolerate with their student very well. The tolerance between teachers and students will create the society with mutual respect. According to the survey, 20 out of 48 respondents prefer the understanding teachers in their studies. There was a story about an understanding teachers that occurs in the time of all scholars. Abu Ja'far al-Tahawi was a student to Ahmad bin Abi Amran. When they had a class session, a richer person walked away in front of them. Then Abu Ja'far did not focus in the class anymore. Then the teacher noticed his action and asked, "Are you thinking about the richer just now?" And he replied, "Yes, I am." The teacher then asked whether he wants to switch that man's property with his knowledge so that he live as an ignorant richer while the man live as a wise poor man. Then Abu Ja'far refused the offer. From this story, the teacher understood the student's thought and tried to bring him back to his sense. This story is really related to the term of murshid because murshid always guide the students to the right path. The second is an effective teacher always relate the lesson with the Islamic perspective.
This is what we call Islamization of education. According to Syed Naqib Al-Atas, in order to Islamize the education, the teacher should isolate the process of Western from the knowledge and infuse the process of Islamic elements into the knowledge. It is just to ensure the students were raised knowing their creator. Furthermore, Allah asks us to be balanced between dunyawi and ukhrawi once Allah has mentioned in Surah Jum'ah verse 10, once the prayer is over, disperse throughout the land and seek the bounty of Allah. And remember Allah often, so you may be successful. This type of teacher perfectly matches with the term murabbi, which means the person who is not only knowledgeable but also pious.
The other good traits practiced by effective teacher is kindness. Based on the data collected, 80% of the respondents prefer the kind teacher as they vote to be advised by a gentle approach. A kind teacher sets a good example to their students. In Islam, the teacher who is responsible in creating a well-mannered student is called mu'addib, which acts as the coach of akhlaq. They have to deal with the student with the best of akhlaq because the students learn best by observing their teacher's attitude. Sheikh Saleh Al-Usaymi said, by observing manners, then you will be easy in learning. The neglect of manners, then your knowledge is nothing. Manners and knowledge are related to each other. Without good manners, an educated person is considered as nothing. There are manners that should be practiced before the lessons begins, which is to set our intentions clearly. Al-Khatib is an author of Kitab Adab wal-Imla, has highlighted the importance of having good intentions before learning, which is to get the blessings of Allah. A kind teacher is concerned with their students and listens to their students' problems. They give advice and encourage the students to do best in their life. A successful education is when the students are willingly practice the lesson in their life. Same goes to the manners. It is useful for the whole of our life as a human. The last trait of effective teachers is active and enthusiastic. A good teacher always encourages the student to be responsive and active in class or outside the class, which means to participate in any activities organized by the school. This helps the students to be disciplined with their time, and in order to be a good student, they have to manage their time properly. Allah has highlighted the importance of time in the whole of Surah Al-Asr, which means all the men are always lost unless those who are always doing the good deeds and patient. In order to train students to be active, the teacher must know the method to attract the student and be creative in delivering the lesson. According to a research, active students show a very good performance compared to passive students. Students who are actively participate in classroom are influenced by the enthusiastic teacher. A data survey shows that 10 out of 48 students enjoy learning with an active teacher because the teacher makes the learning session more lively.